YouTube and welcome back to the GonzoEwok channel. Today we're going to play a little bit more of the Kerbal Space Program, and to introduce ourselves, my name is Gonzo.
My name is Ewok.
And we've got a name for Kerbal Space Program around here, don't we?
We do.
Well, we're building it up here. Geordie Space Program! There we go, just fit that one in.
Woo!
Alright then, so coming off the back of last episode, I'm sure that you've probably seen it by now, but you'll remember there was a slight mishap. We got into Eve's atmosphere, and then Ewok here decided that we needed to do an EVA while we were plummeting down towards the planet, which I obliged him with, and I've got to put out on record I've had dreams about that where I actually I refused to do it, and I felt good waking up after that. But unfortunately, the reality that we're living in, that happened. We lost the Mandingo, and we lost the crew in the process. Yeah. So
Crew
today,
of three.
The crew of three.
That's probably our largest loss.
Yeah, and the daftest lost by a country mile as well. However, we've decided, we're not going to fuck around this time. We don't need to really so much worry about science until we're at Eve.
No, wasn't Desley one of the people we sent?
I think we've lost count, mate.
They just keep coming back.
Just
send
a bunch
Desley
more
again.
in. Yeah.
Billy Bobo? Nah, not
no,
Billy Bobo.
He's a hero, I believe. Send Furmond.
Send Furmond. Where's Furmond? There we go.
There we
Furmond and Lomon. I don't think Lomon's had a...
Yeah, his name's humorous to me because it's the closest sound to lemon.
It does sound a little like lemon.
And so this time we're going back to Eve, but this time we're going to do it...
no messing around,
yeah.
just like straight up, straight to Eve, and then plop it down.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
So we're still using the Mandingo. We're not really making any changes to the rocket. We're just going to fire it up there, get ourselves to Eve, land, and just make sure, hopefully by the end of the episode, we've got a base sitting on Eve. Not that it's really going to do a huge amount of good, but it's just a prestige thing at this point. We need to get there.
It is. We need to actually land on another planet.
Yeah, I mean, we're up to series, we're up to episode 4 of the series, in fact, and we still want to get ourselves going into planetary.
In fact, every episode of the series so far has been us trying to get to Eve, so... We're 4 episodes in.
Yeah, we need to do it, put this one to bed, and then we'll worry about what we're going to do next. And I've had a couple of ideas on that, and in my own single player I've done a few bits and pieces.
I am a little worried about what we do next. I've got no idea where we go from.
Plenty of other planets, we've got the moons.
We've got to get to a planet and get back again, obviously, because this is going to be a one-way trip. Oh, I love the way that just falls to bits.
I love it when it does it and it works and doesn't destroy anything in the process, which your rockets haven't done, but the ones I've designed generally tend to pull off an engine or two when that happens.
Was it you who designed the base design for the Red Laz?
Yeah.
That was a good rocket with a 33% success rate at launch.
Now, what's really weird is I've tried to emulate the Mandingo on my own single player campaign and designing it almost identically to what we've got here. Still makes something that when you do that first stage separation, you end up losing fucking engines, or something explodes or just drops off. Alright then, so we're going to get ourselves up into a little orbit here.
Yeah, just check what my axis is like. It's coming up nicely.
Nice.
And there we go, back in time just to drop those engines.
Showing off now is what's happening. Oh look, I can separate a rocket without parts of it dropping off.
Well, it has only taken 2 seasons, and what did we do? 10 in the first season, so
yep.
we're 14 episodes in, and we've finally got a rocket that works.
Sort of works
pretty much every time.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, it puts the pressure on us because now it's down to pilot error when stuff goes wrong. When the rocket's working all right, it is totally down on what we do as to whether or not it's actually going to work. It's probably going to need a lot more tweaking and changing as we go along, depending on what we want to do next. I mean, the next obvious example of something we could do would be to try and look at something like Juno and seeing if we can get to Juno. It's got an atmosphere as well, so we could potentially parachute down, sort of like what we're doing with Eve here. Another thought that kind of came to mind as well is, we've still got guys that are lost up in orbit. We've still got guys lost on the moon.
The last time we tried to save them didn't go particularly well.
No, we ended up actually just adding to the list of people that needed saving. But I'm quite confident.
We killed one and lost another one in space.
Well, I'm quite confident that maybe not so much on the docking. Still haven't quite figured out the docking. But I have tried a little bit and I got fairly close, kind of like we did last time.
I've done it once before.
Right, okay.
So definitely need practice.
Right, well that might be a goer.
But you don't need to actually dock to rescue those guys, you just need to get close to them and then it's an EVA on the rest of the way out.
Yeah, but it's just getting the speeds relative as well, so they're not like shooting off past each other or, like you suddenly jump out and try to get there and end up losing them. And you've still got to get fairly close in order for the fuel that you've got in the EVA. the EVA suit to actually be enough to carry them. But I'm thinking, well, definitely in terms of landing on the moon, I've kind of got that down quite comfortably now. I'm not sure. I think we've still got somebody stranded on the moon, haven't we? Like busted up.
Yeah, there's a craft there, the Red Laz Mark 1.
Yeah. So maybe at some point, I believe I'll be taking over for the next episode. Obviously, you're back at the helm today. Maybe it could just be a little bit of a hop, skip, and a jump across to the moon. See if we can bring him back, just to kind of tie up those loose threads, and then potentially looking at seeing if we can do another little bit of docking and bringing those guys back in that orbit that you see there around Kerbin.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, those fellas.
Yeah.
I believe, was he not going to... The Red Laz
Yeah.
lifeboat was going to rescue the fourth time of failure,
Yeah.
and now he is equally stranded.
The lifeboat, I think, was down to staging, wasn't it? We got quite close.
And then I accidentally shot the cockpit off.
Yeah.
I don't think we were going to make it because we're running very low on monopropellant. We didn't really have much fuel left either.
Yeah.
But I mean, we would have had an infinitely greater chance of making it had I not shot the cockpit off, which didn't have an engine on it, incidentally. So it's just lost floating uselessly in space.
But I mean, with the design that we've got going here, I think it's opened up a few more avenues to do that as well. So that's something that I think at some point, maybe not next episode, but I think hopefully by the end of the season we can start bringing these guys back, and still looking at the interplanetary side of things as well.
I mean, the one thing about the Mandingo is that it's got a lot of fuel on it, so it's got a lot of scope to go far.
Yeah.
But it handles like an absolute pig, which probably isn't going to be the best thing for an intercept maneuver.
Yeah.
When you're trying to catch up with one of these guys.
But I
mean, we could at least use it to launch a standalone lifeboat into space.
Yeah, of course. That's the point that I was going to make, though, is that actually, really, if we take off the base that we've got sitting at the top here, we can replace that with a lifeboat, or we could replace that with a base. We know that we've got a launcher capable of quite heavy lifting. So yeah, we'd have to probably make something a bit more light, certainly a lot more nimble.
I've just popped into the sun's orbit there in case anyone was wondering what I was doing.
Nice.
That's just me escaping the Kerbin sphere of influence.
Now, I was too busy looking at my electric fag and I didn't actually see where Eve is. Are we close to it, or is it?
I've got no bloody idea. There it is. No.
Yeah,
that's Eve.
It's Eve.
Gilly's its moon.
That would be quite a nice little one. I've never done Gilly before. Wouldn't mind seeing if we'll check that out at some point.
It's supposed to be tiny. It's supposed to be like almost like a large asteroid rather than a small moon. I heard, or rather I read, I think like if you jump on Gilly, the Kerbal will go like 10,000 kilometres into the air.
Nice.
And take 3 minutes to land.
Just no gravity, yeah? Or next to no gravity.
So it'll be an interesting one, although it'll be tricky to move around once you get there.
Well, I'm sure we can worry about that when we get to it. But there's so many different opportunities we can take this. And I suppose the other thing is as well, if anybody's got any kind of suggestions or wants to set us any kind of particular challenges, by all means, the comment box is there for a reason. We tend to get a lot of good comments through Facebook and through private messaging from chatting to people through Twitter and what have you. Strangely enough, though, nobody seems to comment directly on our comments. And we've got a pretty good track record of answering those as and when people do. We'll get a bit sort of attention starved.
We do have a couple outstanding at the moment.
Well, we'll get onto them at some point. But in any event, yeah, if you have got any particular kind of ideas of where you would like to see we take this, give us a shout and we'll see what we can do. Obviously,
what we can do is very little, but we'll certainly try to do it.
Yeah.
And it may be fun watching us fail.
Of course, yes. Set up for the failures that you would like to see. I think that's a good way of putting it. So we're doing a inclination burn here.
Yeah, my next step is to get that inclination lined up.
Cool.
So that we've got we're on the same sort of axis as Eve as it orbits the sun, which will make it easier to get the intercept. And the orbit's not that crazily elliptical.
No, it's just ever so slightly, but anything we can do to bring it closer is going to make things that touch easier. And we'll see how we get on from there then.
No, it's very early with 46 days to go, but I'm going to get myself facing the right direction on the old nav ball.
Not will I?
So I'll need to get my RCS.
I made the same mistake last time when we first loaded up at the beginning of last episode. I shit a brick and thought, we're fucked. And you'll notice I went straight on the resources and I was like checking the electric charge and the monopropellant, thinking we're fucked, and it's just I hadn't turned them on.
Oh yeah, I mean, I make a point of turning them off when I'm moving time forward.
Yeah.
It doesn't tend to actually drain the resources when you're on time warp, but I have seen it happen before.
Yeah.
So I make a point of, whenever I'm skipping time, I don't really need to stop the ship from spinning around or anything like that, so I can turn the RCS and the SAS off, and then just come back to them when I'm ready to actually start making some manoeuvres.
It's a good little tip that if you just speed up time a little bit once you're over, say like we're just about to approach that node that we want, if we knew that we're going to overshoot,
yeah,
just speed it up.
I do it for my sins, which is a
us.
little bit cheating, so then rather than having to actually stop it, you just skip time and it stops it dead against the nerve ball.
It's really handy if your ship's got any kind of roll as well. You know, sometimes if you design a ship that's not perfectly symmetrical and it's got a slight inbuilt bit of roll, it's a good way of just kind of killing that as well and giving yourself a bit of a blank canvas, especially for things like docking. Because while I've only tried it once, failed miserably off camera, my understanding is that rolling's really, really bad when you're trying to dock, so it's something we're going to have to bear in mind when we go back to try that rescue mission.
I don't think the Red Lass has a roll particularly. That's not the Red Lass, sorry, the Mandingo. I don't think the Mandingo rolls.
No, next to none. But it's one of them things it's good to have that kind of that tip or that technique in your back pocket if it should happen while you're trying to get things set up.
Mm-hmm.
See the way that you've got your nav ball at the minute. Again, it's a touch of my OCD. I like that to be straight.
I see. I'm not too fussed about that.
Yeah.
I used to be, but these days.
The thing is, sometimes trying to correct it is what's going to give you that roll in the first place. So it's swings and roundabouts. Okay, we're looking fairly pretty here. You're being sort of fairly quiet, quite studious here. I'm seeing a lot of commitment on your face as you're getting things ready.
We've fucked this up many times already, so I'd like this to be the one. Especially when it was my stupid suggestion to do an EVA that really messed things up last time.
I'm glad actually that that's now out there and that's being recognised that was your suggestion, because if you remember, you argued quite vehemently towards the end of last episode that
I still think the game shafted us.
It did, in terms
because
of the
we had
practice
a
of the
ship that had 2 people coming down and it was perfectly safe. The parachutes were deployed. It was falling at a reasonable velocity. It would have touched down. It would have been fine, and we could have got one of those guys to nip out the lab and go into the cockpit to send the reports. But it didn't want to work that way. It seems that when you have a ship without a pilot, regardless of whether there's other Kerbals in it, it just seems to stop tracking it from the space station.
Yeah, just wipes
for all
the thing
intents
out.
and purposes, that thing ceased to exist the moment the pilot fell out of it.
Which was a crying shame, really. But you live, you learn. We've learned not to do that again. What I've learned is that I need to stand up when you say things like, "Oh, just do an EVA," and then I'll say no.
So what you've learned is that listening to me is often a bad idea.
Yeah, well, I learnt that very early on in our relationship, a good maybe 15 years ago, but it's definitely something that's going to play a part, I think, in future episodes of Geordie Space Programme. I just need the courage of my convictions to say, no, you're talking out your anus this time, and I'm not having it.
Yeah, but if we didn't horribly mess up, no one would watch.
That's pretty decent.
There we go. We'll go for that. You see, I'm getting the hang of this.
1 minute 10-second burn.
1 minute 10-second burn. We've got plenty of fuel left in that, and
so we'll just sit here for about a year then.
We'll just sit here for a year, and then we've got a bit of a nice roll going there. But as you mentioned, as soon as I speed up time, it just freezes.
Which is very handy.
It is very handy. So I'll get about maybe 20 days away, and then I'll start correcting.
Now remember, let's not make the mistakes of 2 episodes ago where we overshot. So you'll have to forgive if we kind of slow things down and take it a little bit easier as we get closer to what.
I think this is still going to be one of our shorter episodes if we succeed. I suppose we could drag it out a bit by spending a bit of science at the end, because we should have a lot of science saved up.
I think we did check after recording last time just to have a bit of a look, and we had banked a fair bit from. Yeah, we've got about 800. So, and we're on the level of the tech tree where most things are still only costing 300 or 160.
So we can get a couple of things, a good couple of things.
Well, I'm thinking bigger solar panels is something that I keep thinking in the back of my head that we've got, but we don't at the moment. So
no, we're using the basic ones.
Yeah, I think that would be quite handy. Ideally, I'd probably have liked them for sending a base. I'd probably have liked some decent solar panels onto it, just for, I don't know, just kind of completeness sake. The idea being that it's like, I know that the likes of Scott Manley and you know, some of the Interstellar Quest mods and what have you take into account life support. So if your electricity runs out, your guys are freezing to death. And you've got to take into account food, things like that. And so for me, just even though it's not actually having a gameplay impact, I feel as though we need to make sure there's enough electric charge to see them through. That at least then we can say, well, that's kind of a self-sustaining base. Still isn't, because you'd run out of food. But you know, having the electric, it's the way I kind of measure the success and the sustainability of a base. And to do that, we're going to need the bigger solar panels.
So in your mind, these people are going to die?
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see what's happening and check out the electric charge once we're down on the planet and we're doing a bit of science, just to see how things are kind of rocking when we're down there.
I'm just spinning this around looking for my manoeuvre node because I have no idea where on the nav ball it's going to appear. I know I want to burn retrograde. No, there we go. I know I needed to burn retrograde, but I've got no idea where retrograde's going to be in 49 days' time.
Yeah, but if you're hovering over the blue node, I think it does track that. It'll move it naturally to where it needs to be, won't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's where retrograde is going to be in 49 days' time.
Yeah, that's a much easier and comprehensive way of saying it. That's the point that I wanted to make, but it's all just little coloured markers moving around on a ball at the minute.
It is, and I don't really know how to translate that ball into anything real.
I'm starting to learn it, and I think it seems very important to know that when we're trying things like landing on like moons or places that don't have an atmosphere. You know, in terms of like some of the ridiculous landings we've had before in the past.
And a lot of my problems there is rather than going off the nav ball, I was trying to go off the visual ship itself on the screen.
Yeah, just
and sometimes you can't tell which way is up and which way is down.
And it's how you fucked up your camera as well, and how you've moved your camera as you're coming down, because then that means that you could press you could press W and say, right, well, I want to use that to tilt away, and you could find that actually what ends up happening is you've tilted to the right. And, well, watch most of Series 1 for perfect examples of that occurring time and time again. Alright, cool.
Well, I overshot, but at this distance.
Well, we'll probably have to do a course correction in any event, so just kind of get it burning. That's only like a third of a Kerbal day that we've missed it by, so could be worse.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried at this distance. As you say, we'll have to do a course correction anyway.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't last time, but I think that was just pure flukiness.
How dare you? No, that was pure skill on my part.
Well, no, because you took over after I'd already got us close to Eve.
Oh yeah. Okay, well I tried to just grab a little bit of glory there for myself.
You did, yeah, for my manoeuvre. I mean, I did do some horrific manoeuvring as well, which you avoided. All your mistakes were down to listening to me.
Yeah,
it's the biggest mistake you've ever made.
I'm liking this. It's like we've got the Truth and Reconciliation episode of Geordie Space Programme going on here. Albeit I haven't told the truth. But aside from that, yep, I feel as though we're communicating in the spirit of shared endeavour here. That's a good thing. Right, take that down.
So how am I looking there? I do appear to have an encounter. No, I don't.
Nah, still quite a bit of a distance off. Just keep burning on your retrograde a little touch there as well. You could freehand that until you get an encounter. As long as you don't do it too ridiculously, should be alright. There we go. Nice, that's an encounter.
It's a very distant encounter.
I think
a little bit more.
Just don't send it out too far the other way.
There we go, that'll do. That'll be enough to get into a pretty decent orbit.
Oh dear. Oh, still got an encounter somehow.
Oh Christ, I'm sorry about that. I just accidentally leaned forward on the shift key.
It looked as though you wanted to like stifle a sneeze. But somehow we've still
am I on a collision course because we don't have a periapsis anymore? Have I accidentally sent us on a collision course?
I think we do have a periapsis.
We've got a sun apoapsis. We've got an Eve encounter and we've got an Eve escape.
Well, we're probably going to miss it at this distance, but it's something that we can work off in any event. The fact that we've still got that encounter despite your little kind of minor fit at the keyboard there, we're doing alright.
Well, let's just set a node so I've got an indication of how long it's going to take to get there.
So,
and this is where I really don't want to overshoot. This is where it becomes important.
Yeah.
So I can speed up a bit from that, and then I'll slow down once it goes under, say, 50.
So next I'll just take a draw on my flag, have a little bit of coffee.
Yep, good plan. Coffee break. There we go. Oh, I'm feeling all limbered up now.
Ooh, what a lovely tea party.
Oh, please. What's that from?
I think it's Jen Sam Bob Strike Back.
I've got a closest approach now, rather than an encounter. It seems I can't make up its mind whether I'm going to have an encounter or a close approach.
We're having quite shit luck with these, we're chasing the planet. Right.
Or maybe that's, that'll be the, yeah, that's the closest approach after...
Yeah, because we're coming in, well, we're catching the thing up, so we'll end up with that inside track that we've got there.
Yeah, so that's going to be the
we'll end
orbit
up sailing
afterwards.
ahead of it if we don't grab it.
But we will grab it, don't you worry about that.
It's alright, just get yourself facing retrograde, get yourself ready. Right.
Why does it still say 200 days when the planet's clearly there?
It's probably until we come back around to the manoeuvre node now. It's something they added in the 2.35 that you can set concurrent.
No, I think I had the manoeuvre node, because you see the points join there. I think I had it on the wrong...
Either way, time's are ticking. That's it. Pull yourself back around. It's not too bad.
Oh, I'm glad I stopped that in time, really.
Yeah, that would have been an absolute travesty if you managed to make the same mistake again.
That's a 50-second burn. I could probably bring that all the way back here.
Cool.
So I start the manoeuvre pretty much now.
23 minutes ahead, but yeah, I mean, just start slowing we down and we'll get captured, and just do that until we've got a nice low orbit around
I'm facing prograde there, so
yeah.
I definitely don't want to burn there. So let's just flip this nerve ball upside down, and then we'll get ourselves in an orbit.
Yeah.
Thank God I didn't know if I shoot there. That would be highly embarrassing. Although, to be honest, with the point of encounter, we probably could have got it. We just would have had to go around twice.
Yeah.
Which would have been a little time wasteful, if anything.
We're managing fine. Now, I suppose the big challenge that you've got is to see if you can bring it down on land. And if you remember, you want to aim for the light parts. Who'd have thunk it? But last time we were aiming for the dark parts. So, see how you can do.
I'm not sure. Last time did we not aim for the light parts thinking... No, we aimed for the dark parts thinking it was the other way around, and then landed in the ocean anyway.
Which was the light part.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I probably should have looked that up. Fuck it, just get we down there. Get we down into a fit state. But ideally we want to come down on soil if we possibly can.
If we can. I'd rather just make sure we land and then worry about a landing site once we've got that in the bag.
Well, I'm just thinking about planting the flag. I'm thinking about seeing if we can get some soil samples and transmit the data of that back, because that's where the real science pay dirt is. It's soil samples.
No pun intended, pay dirt.
Oh, it was a very good one. I'm a poet and I don't even know it.
Okay, here we come. We're coming up to burn.
Just start fucking burning.
No, let's get this precise.
Really?
Just to prove that I can do it precisely. Although I'm actually slightly out on the old node there. Stopping it slightly early because you've got to get the momentum up.
Nice. Seeing the lines are wobbling in a somewhat pleasing fashion.
Ooh, there goes an apoapsis shooting by.
I wonder if that's visible from the capsule to watch the little arrow shootle by. Would have been in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
That's a book I haven't read in a long time.
Oh, I'm making I'd say probably once every 2 years I'm making a pilgrimage to at least read the first 3 or 4.
Ever read the new one by
his son?
No, it wasn't by his son, was it?
Oh, I thought didn't his son finish it off? Or am I getting confused with Tolkien?
I think mostly Harmless might not have been fully written. I don't know.
I seem to remember that he was writing it, and then he put like a lot of work into it, then died, and then it was finished off by somebody in his estate. I'll bring that down there. More.
Not that much.
Not that high. It's very deceptive at this kind of distance to see exactly what's happening. Check it. 178. Get it down to about 50 maybe. 60's alright.
No, I don't want to do an aero break just yet.
No?
I want to try and get in a nice circular orbit because that's going to give us a better opportunity to pick a landing site.
Well, anything over 100. That should be alright.
That'll do.
101. Champion. I think that's just above the atmosphere there.
So this'll... Oh, hang on. There'll be plenty of fuel left. So
yeah, we've still got that other stage, haven't we?
We've got a whole other stage, and once we use that, it'll actually start to speed up a bit because there'll be a lot less weight on the rocket.
Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't it be awful if we ended up stuck in orbit around Eve with no fuel?
Yeah, that's an absolute headfuck of a rescue mission. Cool.
Given that there's 3 Kerbals on this ship, that is a headfuck of a rescue mission. We'd have to have a hell of a spacious life raft.
Yeah, so I found that Kerbal Space program and playing it over the past couple of months as well has really given us a bit of a bug to kind of dip back into some science and some space stuff.
Really?
Yeah, to that event.
The spacey stuff was the part of physics classes that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I think it's, to be honest, it's because maths isn't my strong point, is why I kind of avoided physics. I like a lot of the theoretical side of things, just minus the numbers.
Minus the actual...
Yeah, it was our old physics teacher.
I like hearing about how other people work stuff out. I don't like actually working it out myself.
Yeah. And it was our old physics teacher was the guy that persuaded us not to do it at A level and just said, look, I know the parts of physics that you really enjoy and you're good at those bits. Unfortunately, most of it's going to be maths, and I know what you think about maths. So you don't want to be doing it.
That's very honest of him.
Yeah, I thank him for that. At the end of the day, I thought it was a quite a nice thing to say.
Regretfully, I did physics, and I hated it.
Aye.
Just going to slow that down a little bit to
yeah,
make sure
still got plenty of time.
3, 2, 1.
Nice. Oh, nearly bang on. Close as you need to be.
Oh, well, I only used the manoeuvre to get the indication, and then I did it by... Right, we lost about a third of the fuel tank on about 20 seconds of burning.
Yeah.
So we need to bear that in mind before we think about how much we've got left.
Well, that's still not bad, It's going to be a fair bit to circular eyes, but...
Doesn't need to be hugely circular, as long as the planet just doesn't have time to move too much.
Now, doing that, though, it's going to drop when aero braking on the other side.
How high does the atmosphere go?
It's up to about 90, but I don't know if that'll actually break or not. I think we'll just be skipping across it.
Okay, we'll keep it at 100 on this side.
I'll bring it down to 200 there. That's still going to be enough for it to be able to plot how we're going to land, I think.
Yeah, I would think so.
Cool. Alright.
And where the hell is my manoeuvre? It's a lot more manoeuvrable once we get down to this final stage.
Yeah, it's nice.
Sexy sweet.
There we go. What we've learnt is that the Mandingo is incredibly more efficient when he's down to a third of his size.
Which is the opposite of what you would expect, really.
Totally. I know who'd have thought it. Alright.
And next manoeuvre in 4 hours 40 minutes.
Cool. You're going to do your... Oh, you are doing the time acceleration.
Yeah, we should do a real-time Kerbal mission once.
Yeah,
somebody's bound to have done that. Ooh, a little eclipse there.
Maybe like a moon mission or something on it. Like if you were going to do like a 3-day Twitch stream or something like that, you could say...
You could do a moon mission in a lot less than 3 days, man.
Aye. Yeah,
I think it takes about 15 hours, doesn't it?
It'd be about that. I'm just getting confused with real life again. I think the Apollo mission, I think was about 3 days. I think it was about that. Somebody will probably correct us. Nice. Just tick on it. That's the one. Nice deft control. That's what we need.
You notice how careful I'm being?
I know, I'm well impressed.
Hang on, I need to go on about 14 seconds, don't I?
You're handling this with the deft control of an experienced pilot. Which is better than the lunging wildly that we usually achieve.
Indeed.
Right, here we go. Might want to zoom in a little touch as well. We can do it now. Christ, it's like we knew what we were doing.
Almost.
I think we always kind of knew what we were doing when it came to Eve. I think for the most part we figured it out fairly quickly. It was just being able to actually then deliver the goods, Not that we have delivered the goods yet. There's still plenty of fucking time for something to go wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
But we're doing alright here. Cool. That's good. You're kind of drifting off your node here.
That's okay.
But that'll do.
Right, so I do think that is land.
Can we zoom in any more to see maybe if we jump out of map mode and see if we can see the planet below us? See if that'll give any kind of indications. Definitely from up here it looks like land, doesn't it?
I mean, that definitely...
It looks like...
Look how shiny it is.
Yeah, it's got to be water.
And that's that lake there.
Yeah, it's got to be liquid of some description.
Right, so if I were to immediately burn retrograde, that's gonna...
That'll do. You can do it if you put your back into it. Cool. Just turn around and get burning. And of course the thing is, as soon as we kind of hit that atmosphere, it will drop it down a hell of a lot more as well, the distance that we're going to travel as we catch the atmosphere. Nice. Yeah, well, there's craters there. The craters are probably a good indication. There's a nice big flat bit here, so...
And I guess we can call it a day.
Yeah, let's not EVA, whatever we do. Let's not do that. Let's not do anything silly.
So I'll just keep this popping retrograde. Is there a cat behind me?
There is. There's a cat staring intently at the back of your head. We're doing alright. Okay then. So...
I think I can afford... zip forward a little bit. And I'll bring it back once we're hitting about, say, 50,000, do you think?
Nice. Well, I think it'll start limiting how much we can do.
It's pulled us back into one time, which means technically we must have hit the atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, you can see just the atmosphere underneath the altitude there as well.
Desley's looking happy. I hope there are people in the science station.
It's interesting that you interpret Desley's face as happy, because I'm not sure if that is happy or not. That, to me, kind of says terror.
Happy, terror. There's a fine line between the two emotions, really.
What's to say they're mutually exclusive, eh?
Exactly. And...
yeah, I think
it's really leaning quite heavily at the moment, the ship.
So it's probably just as it's like
top heavy.
Yeah, and it's buffeting along the atmosphere. Gravity's got a hold of it.
It's definitely top heavy because his fuel tank's pretty much empty.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind using all the mono propellant at this stage, although there's plenty left.
Yeah, we're doing okay. All we've got to do is get ourselves down in one piece, deploy the parachutes properly. Are you going to do anything to try and raise up how and when the parachutes are going to set off?
Well, that's 2,500. Is that not going to be enough?
The drogue chute, it probably will be. It's just I'd hate to see that's what causes the bother. It's up to you if you want to or not. Just remember you know, it could go either way, really.
It's so fiddly to get it dead on. I wish
it
you
is,
could type it in.
Especially when it's
especially when you're aware that the ground is coming towards you relatively quickly.
Yeah. So we're doing them at 1,000. Maybe leave the drogue chute as it is, and it'll just take some of the strain, hopefully. Nice. We've got the fire coming on, so the fire comes up for re-entry at 60,000.
Come on, there we go. Is that all of them?
I think it would be the high point of our series if we could work out a way to get to Eve and back again.
That's a tall order.
It is. I think even sort of pro players, really experienced players would say that that's it.
But Eve's atmosphere goes higher and appears to be thicker than Kerbals, so we need a rocket at least.
You basically need to build a land. Yeah, you need to build a land effectively with a launch stage intact.
And need to be able to effectively land an entire Mandingo.
Yeah, which I think.
Which I never thought I'd be able to say.
Don't many people have said that before. Maybe outside of the San Fernando Valley. But
I'm gonna tickle away some of this fuel to slow it down.
Do what you like. I think we're doing alright for the time being. But I think the other way that you could do it is you would probably need to... I know there's mods where you can drill for Keithane and refuel, but that just seems a bit kind of cheaty. Don't get us wrong, I mean, it's something that potentially could make its way into the game and it's a good idea, but it's not something that I'm particularly interested in, you know.
Right, we are out of fuel. Ditching that.
Cool.
Parachutes
yeah, why
launched.
not? Through the re-entry and just...
land the stage down.
But yeah, what I was saying there is I think we'd probably need to end up with a refueling stage or refueling stages around maybe a couple of different planets, and you might have to hop from sort of refueling base to refueling base. But even then, it's still a fucking tall order to get back up off Eve.
Well, even then, it's a tall order to get something carrying that weight off Kerbin.
Yeah.
Without having to ditch stages as you go. I mean, the Mandingo, even if all the fuel was cross-fed, so none of those engines ran out of fuel until the fuel was gone, I don't think we would get that into space in one part. And it's the law of diminishing returns. The bigger you make it, the harder it's going to be to lift.
Yeah, I think there would be some serious issues doing it, but you never know. Maybe by Series 30, might be something that we're going to at least flirt with the idea of doing.
No, I believe in the latest patch. That's a lot of wires. I'm surprised things aren't getting tangled up. I believe in the latest patch they fixed the issue of speeding time forward when using parachutes.
I've heard that.
I don't think it's the time to test it.
No, that's maybe something we can test just by messing around in between recording sessions if we get a chance to.
So we're just going to have to try and keep some sort of banter going on for the. Well, it's going to be 139 seconds until the chute's deployed.
I'll tell you what, then, if we're going to be having a bit of a chat and just watching this thing full, see if we can maybe get a good view of the planet first, just so people have got something vaguely interesting to watch.
Yeah, there's nothing much down there but purple.
Yeah.
Well, there's a nice little lake there.
Yeah.
Well, we appear to be coming down on a bit of a mountainy bit, which.
Yeah, it's a worry, because this is a bit kind of a bit kind of like I'm always worried about building.
It may fall over.
Yeah, like bases that'll kind of have the potential to kind of roll a little bit, but we'll see.
I mean, the whole planet looks a bit lumpy, to be honest.
Yeah, strange enough, actually, the place I've put my base on, Eve, on my own playthrough is completely flat. I think it's.
I mean, this bit looks okay, but we seem to be immediately. I mean, next to this
mountain,
that's a big ass
yeah.
mountain, and I mean, in reality of distance, that's actually probably quite a long way.
Yeah.
Given that we're looking at it from a kilometre up.
Well, 9 kilometres up.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
9 kilometres up. 1 kilometre and we'd be brown trousers 10 because the shoots haven't deployed.
Mind, I mean, they're being sent without any kind of food or life support or any real chances of being brought back, but at least they've got some lovely sunsets to look at as well, mind. I mean, that's a very pretty atmosphere that they've got here.
It is, with that lovely purple
Looks
glow.
like some sort of like 70s prog rock album cover.
You probably can't actually see Gilly from this planet if it is as small as it. That is one pointy ass mountain, isn't it? That'd be a nice thing to journey to. Unfortunately, they won't be doing any journeys anyway.
No, unless
if only we'd packed them with a land area, but I don't think we've unlocked the decent lander gear yet.
Oh, the you mean like rovers or something like that?
Yeah, like a rover.
Yeah, I'd like to. It's something I've been experimenting with, and I think we've got some capabilities of maybe designing something and send them up to the moon and Minmus just to check out the rest of the biomes and what have you. Seeing if we can build some sort of little hopper.
People won't be able to see this. I was wondering if that was Gilly there, but it seems to be a tiny speck of dust on my TV screen. I thought it was moving quite quick. It's following me. Jesus.
Aliens. Oh,
yeah.
There we go. Drogue shoots out.
Oh, parachute. Shadow.
We're coming down very slow though. Actually, that drogue chute seems to have done the trick to mostly slow it down.
It's brought us down to 15 metres.
Yeah, you'd want to be a little bit slower, but doing all right.
Uh-huh.
That's not too bad at all.
Oh, it's going to take forever to get down. But as I say, I'm not willing to compromise the
no,
safety
that's it.
information.
I think once we've done this, we'll do our science. We'll spend the science that we've got as well, buying a couple of extra bits and pieces, and that's probably like quite a reasonable length episode, I'd think.
When this meets this, then we've done it. We've gone interplanetary.
I'm trying to think how many episodes it took in Series 1 to get to the moon.
Quite a few. I think we were past the halfway mark by the time we got there.
Were we? I know we've got to Minmus straight after. I thought it was about episode 4 of the first series. Oh no, it was about 6 maybe.
Mm.
It's about 6 episodes in, and then it was very quickly after we got to Minmus.
I mean, we crashed into the moon earlier.
Yeah, we had technology, Kerbal technology, sitting on the moon for quite some time.
In fact, we crashed twice. The first time we crashed, there was no trace of it because we hit it like a dart.
Yeah.
The second time, we sort of skidded across the surface of the moon.
Yeah.
We had fuel,
see the highlight reel for that one.
Well, see the highlight reel for lots of explosions.
Explosions.
Watch those explosions. Everybody go and, after this episode, watch the Season 1 highlight reel. It's only about 50 seconds long, because that is literally how many highlights there were in that time. But it's full of explosions and amusing snippets of commentary. Yeah,
if anybody's watching this and hasn't subscribed, it's probably playing in the background, I think. Still, we've put that up as kind of like a channel trailer, really.
I think we've missed 2 parachutes.
That's alright. We're going, we're less than 5 metres a second here, we're fine.
We must be quite a bit above sea level, because they deployed at 3,000 metres and they were set to deploy at 1,050 metres above sea level.
Yeah. See, that's kind of what I had in the back of my head, just on the off chance, and seeing that there was like some mountainous regions, I thought it's better that it takes a bit of time, even if it makes it a little bit boring in terms of gameplay, to watch this thing come down.
Those are the other parachutes, that's why I didn't spot them before. Because I've stuck them on the top there.
Hidden away under the goo canisters. It's a good job that the parachutes don't have any kind of physical form, or they would have just like popped up and took off the goo canisters.
I mean, the truth is, there's absolutely no real need to have as many parachutes as this on. I'm just very nervous, because I have had things on the past where I've like had, say, a parachute on the top, and it's just ripped off the rest of the lander, so I wanted to make sure that the whole of the lander was pretty well covered.
I think that happened with one of our earlier crashes.
I can safely speed this up now, to be honest with you.
Oh dear.
Well,
we'll probably be fine, but I just don't like any kind of changes at this stage going on, frankly.
No, we're all good.
Just keep an eye on the shadow.
Yeah. I mean, those ones might rip off, but that's not going to do with too much damage. Oh, there we go, they've deployed.
It's a very soft landing we're coming down for, all things considered.
Yeah, 3 metres a second. I mean, it's coming very slowly, even considering that we're going at full speed.
Yeah. But hey, it's doing it. I hope everybody's ready for this.
It looks like some sort of jellyfish in the shadow, doesn't it?
The jellyfish of Eve.
Oh! That was a bit weird.
Bit of a cloud, possibly. It's the one mod that I'd consider putting on would be the beautification mod, so we'll get like nice atmospheres and volumetric clouds and what have you.
This is pretty.
Oh, it is. It's still
it's pretty.
It's very beautiful. But even so, I know we've kind of said no mods, but it's something I'm going to put on my own playthrough. I think I've never tried any mods, but I've seen other YouTubers have used it, and it makes the game look absolutely amazing in terms of like the atmospheric effects. Bit of a slope that we're coming down on here. Oh, that was nice, mate. Well done. High five. There we go.
Nice.
Down. Jellyfish of Eve and Dingo.
Moonbase Eve.
Okay.
Okay, let's get some science done.
What should we get next in Nout?
We're going to get 24 for transmitting that before it goes through with the layer module. So we'll process
probably
that
get the
through
best part of
module.
30 for the goo.
Observe the materials
Have
bit.
a read what's happening.
The crushing pressure of the atmosphere is causing some of the materials to crystallise rapidly. You observe the goo.
Nice.
Let's keep that. I'll send it all at once.
Nice. And luckily we're down on the sunny part here, so those solar panels will be charging well. Get them going.
Let's get a barometer reading.
Love these things.
The atmosphere is very dense at the surface. It crushes down on the instrumentation. That's 48 plus another 25% of that.
Nice.
So it's going to be 50.
We don't have the seismic accelerometer thing, do we?
I don't believe we do.
That's a shame, because that gets you a lot of science.
72.
Sweet. You're going to keep it and send it all off as a 1A?
I'll wait until the lab analysis is done, then I'll send that off. Cool. Oh, that's good, lad. That's good, that.
That is good, that. Nice.
Can I do it from there? No, I can't do it from the lab. Where's the transmitter? Transmit all.
Sweet.
I do like that transmitter. It's the one piece of high technology we have on the ship.
There's an even nicer one, the next one that you get up's a little cylinder and it comes out and makes a little antenna dish. That makes it feel super space age. That and a couple of retractable panels and that's it.
That's not gone. I'll see if we can get a little bit more from the other goo canister.
Cool.
Because usually you can get one and a little bit from the goo canisters. No.
Nah.
Never mind that. Reset the experiment. We've got the
temperature?
thermometer.
That's
the barometer again. We go. 32 signs plus an extra 25%.
It's fluctuating between very hot and very cold, which I don't see the scientific purpose in sending that back, frankly, but fair enough.
And temperatures range between very hot and cold enough, very cold and hot enough to boil water. So let's transmit that.
Yep.
That's all the science we can do from inside the ship.
Now,
I'm almost worried about sending Desley out.
my concern is, now it's probably something I should have raised a bit earlier, but you see there's like that little bit of a gap between the landing legs? Oh, you fucking genius.
Extend-o-matic ladder.
That's the first legit use of a ladder we've had as well. I'm loving it. There we go.
I can't believe you doubted me.
Okay.
You thought that it was just going to be impossible to get back onto the ship.
It's something I hadn't raised up, but I was thinking we're going to have to bring the legs in and just hope it sits on its arse. Might have been alright.
Clean the experiments, and then we'll let...
Well, we can legit do an EVA here and get back in and send that off before he lets go. Might be worth doing.
Or just to make sure he can, in fact, get back on. You've recorded your observations about the situation.
That's pure science because it's a report. Have we done a crew report as well?
Actually, haven't done a crew report, so we'll get a crew report done as well. Recorded the crew's assessment of the situation. That's a lot. I'm going to have to keep them because we're struggling with charge, so I'll give it a second for that to charge back up.
Cool.
It seemed cleaning the experiments took a bit of a toll on it. It's a shame they're going to have to live in this slightly wonky space station for the rest of their days.
They'll get used to it. If we've been clever enough, all the seats in it and what have you will have been at a slight wonk for the past 2 years they've been flying over.
Maybe if we dropped like these legs down but kept those ones up.
Maybe we can try that once we're exhausted with it, bring a couple of the legs in to see if we can...
It'll probably just tip over. Do we really want to do that? And then things will be even worse.
Fuck cares. They're there. They've done their job. Once the science is back, they're all expendable again.
Well, let's transmit that data. Little bits at a time, little baby steps. We want to make sure we get everything sent.
Cool.
Okay, and we did the crew report.
Did EVA
report.
Go out and put a flag down.
The first Kerbal on Eve. Oh, the ladder's a bit chunky. Oh!
Oof.
Ouch.
He's back up, he's fine.
That's not the
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that's very gravity heavy, isn't it?
Yeah. Right.
So the first man on the eve, which has a bit of a wobbly surface.
Right, go and put that flag down.
Plant flag.
Right.
Mandingo base.
Yep. I think that's the way to do it. We'll have to design one flag.
We say that every time.
I know.
Mandingo base.
Yep. And the plaque should read, we came, we saw, we mandingoed.
We came, we saw... Oh, hang on, I've hit caps lock. We mandingoed.
Nice. There we go. Right, see if we can get some soil.
The surface appears to have a very strong purple tint to it, or is it grey and it just looks purple because everything else in Eve is? You start to wonder if you're not taking on a purple tint yourself. Now that's with 60 signs. I'm not sure if we can run that through the
lab.
The lab
we
when
can
we get
try
back
it.
in.
If we get back in. Yeah. Oh, well, that bit worked. I'm concerned about
this because he's just going to fall off, isn't he?
Oh, nice.
No, he can't get in.
Oh.
And he can't grab on. I'll give it one more go and then we're going to have to start experimenting with bringing the legs down to try and straighten this up.
Well, we'll see what we can do. It's always a bit finicky when you're trying to get those ladders around the corner as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's going under the ladder on the hatch, you see, that's the issue.
If we can get him close, it's just down to good luck whether or not he stands up and he's on the thing or not. Yeah, it's...
Okay, I'll move him away and... Oh!
It's sinking!
Oh!
It's sinking!
Run!
I think that was the pressure of the Kerbal on the... Now, bringing the legs in, though, we're going to need somebody in the capsule, I believe. We need to try the one closest to him, but I think you might need somebody in the capsule in order to do it.
I think he might be able to manually do it, if I get him close enough.
I know you can, like, repair rover wheels and what have you, but... Let's see if you can click on it. No, raise the leg. No. Need to be in.
Oh dear.
Give it one more try and see if we can do it.
Try coming in from on this side. Oh no, I can't.
Nah.
I don't have a ladder on this side. Oh, that's a shame because that means we won't be able to send the soil sample back.
That is a shame, but we've done quite well. You know what? I'm happy that we got here in one piece.
There is evidence that we got here.
Yeah.
It's just a shame about the bloody wonkiness of the damn thing.
Yeah, letting your OCD get here there, I don't think it really matters that much.
No, I mean the wonkiness means that he can't get back on. Oh, it's so close.
He
can make it.
He's taking some stupendous falls here. Give it another go. We don't want to keep
He's taking a pounding from Mandingo.
We don't want to keep these good viewers watching too much more of this, but we'll give it another go and see what we can do. Phil and Matt, he's just going to have to fucking bunk on his ears outside and just have a nap. Nah, got to be back in the capsule, I think, to do it.
It's a real shame.
It is.
You see, I'm pushing all the way up and then letting go. Shall I just like leave him there?
Maybe try it. I think it's like he's being pushed back by the capsule a touch. Nah.
Oh, this is an absolute piss party.
No, I'll be alright. We're just going to have to leave him, I think, unfortunately, mate.
It's a shame. I would have liked to have that soil sample. I mean, we can get people in and out there, so they're just going to have to sleep in shifts.
Yeah.
Oh, I can store the experiment in there.
Nice. Oh, well, there we go. Even
so
better.
It's there, we just can never transmit it, ever.
Oh, yeah. It's a shame that you can't transfer people internally as well. I hope that's something that they work on at some point. Like, we can't say, leave the lab and go into the capsule. You'd think that there'd be a connecting, like, tube or bulkhead or something that could pass through to go between without having to leave the ship.
Oh, well.
Nah, he's just bouncing more and more and more.
And well, we're controlling the Kerbal now. What'll happen if we switch to the USS Mandingo?
No, it hasn't got a pilot. Can't do much with it. Still needs to be somebody to press the buttons.
Lab status operational. Comms locked.
Right, it's an interesting manoeuvre. I doubt anybody else is going to be able to achieve it anyway. Or you're just going to take them all out now. Just have them all standing there.
Yeah, well, they can all stand together.
Alright. There we go. And then I think we'll go and spend the science and then wrap up the episode, dude.
I love the way they all fall out as well. What's the point of putting a damn ladder on this thing?
Just launching themselves out. I'm loving it. Cool.
And that's a shot.
That's not too bad.
And that's a good shot to end this on. Cool. Alright, excellent. Let's head to the Space Centre and see how much science we've got to spend.
Yeah, we'll spend that up and then we'll draw things to a close.
Cool. It's night time on Kerbin, but it's daytime on Eve. Oh, fantastic. Research and development. We have 1,132 science to spend.
Alright, so what's the two first bits that we'll come across in the lower branches?
Aerodynamics and advanced flight control. So that's very much space planey type of stuff.
Yeah.
Or just plain old planey type of stuff.
It's 90 a pop to get it.
I'm not too fussed about it at the moment, but they are cheap.
Okay, well I'll tell you what, we'll prioritise a few things.
Well, you've got your solar panels here.
Yeah.
You wanted your solar panels, that will cost 160.
Cool. Well,
and that unlocks some better batteries as well as 4 different types of panels.
I think that's it's a good way of going. We'll get those. That's unlocked a couple of extra bits, so what's that giving away?
So that's given with large electrics, which gives us a big ass battery
and that gives with a great
giant
they're my favourites.
Oh, do you want them then? 300?
Keep an eye out because I've got another couple of ideas. I want to get.
We've got the seismic accelerator.
Yeah, I think we need that.
And the new communicator. You think we need that
to
do a bit more science?
Yeah, I mean you get a lot. Big? You get a lot. No, it's a tiny little thing.
Fantastic.
Similar sort of size to the air barometer.
So we've got that. Lander parts. Oh, sorry.
Rover parts.
Rover parts.
Yeah, we'll probably do with those, but we'll keep an eye
out. Up here on the more expensive end of stuff, this will eat up most of our science. We've got a sensor array computing nose cone.
Yep, slap that on the front when you're flying in an atmosphere. It collects data.
Okay. The Gravmax negative gravioli detector.
Yeah, detecting gravioli parts.
So these are science parts.
Yeah, and I mean I would really like that because that gives you a shitload of science as well. However, what I'm thinking is if you jump up to the top.
Have a quick look at this. We've got the grabbing unit for asteroid missions. Storage containers and adapters, that's like various just construction stuff. Docking port is going to be useful if we do plan on making a space station at some point.
Yep. That's the escape system. It's one of the new additions. You stick that in the front of your rocket, and if you fire it, it pings your capsule off with a parachute.
Okay.
A little rocket.
That's got. Is that a new control system?
It's a
new landers
it's a big old ass like sort of landing capsule.
So new landers and a larger RCS fuel tank.
That's what I want.
You want the atomic rocket?
Yeah, I mean if we're looking at the max thrust isn't great, but it's engine ISP, which is effectively the way of
fuel
thinking
efficiency.
Is its efficiency in a vacuum 800. At this stage, that means that if we put some atomic rocket motors on with a decent amount of fuel, that could burn.
Are they big?
They're a good old size, but they don't weigh an absolute ton.
I mean, will they go on like the big heavy fuel tanks?
No, smaller fairings.
It'd be interesting. I was thinking one of the things we could do for a ship design is send a manned ship up, but with maybe a couple of drones on the side of it,
and then just
we can release. So we can send Kerbals to a planet, have them go there, and then send the drones out, collect some data from its moons, and take it back.
Right, yeah, I mean that would probably allow it to do it if we designed it cleverly.
Or we've got very heavy rocketry,
which I would like to do, but
stuff.
I don't think we need it just yet. I think the Mandingo's got quite a good service life.
So how about we take the nuclear atomic motor? Sorry, the atomic motor.
Cool.
That gives us 300 left. I'm not too bothered about new lander cams.
No, they look nice, but we're not too worried about them.
So we've got 300 to spend, so we can either pop it on advanced electronics,
basic rovers,
or we can hold on to it for these.
I think get a basic rover. Get the basic rover parts, so we've got them there.
The basic rover parts.
Probably what we'll need to do if we're going to start building rovers is I'll show you how to take files out of the spaceplane hangars folder and move them into your vehicle assembly building folder.
Is that not cheating?
I don't think so, because it's not really modern. It's literally just changing a couple of the game files and shifting them across as a sub-assembly to give you access to rovers that you
build on the hangar.
Easily.
I mean, this is looking quite nice. We must be getting close to the end of the technology tree.
I think we've still got a fair bit to go, and I think the big gap that we've got here really is all the spaceplane stuff.
Yeah, and I've never been too fussed about that.
No, I'd like to do it just as an experiment more than anything else. I can build an alright atmospheric plane, but I've never built something that can actually go up into orbit. But we're going to have a look at that at some point as well. It'll be a nice little outing at some point in the future.
Well, I guess that's a wrap for this episode. It's been very successful.
Yeah, down in the
wow, I didn't even know you could do this, where you could go and
We'll have a look at that.
Oh my god, this is amazing.
We'll have a look at this as we wrap the episode up, okay? So, thank you very much for watching, guys. As always, please like, comment, subscribe. If you haven't dropped a subscription, that would also be very much appreciated. Remember, we've got a Facebook page. Just search for GonzoEwok, and also at GonzoEwok over on Twitter. And yeah, we'll hope that you've enjoyed the episode and that you'll hang around and see our next video. More Kerbal Space Program this time next week.
Thank you very much, everybody, and it's goodbye from me as well.
Bye-bye.